Spacecraft technology will advance far beyond what is possible today, leading to antimatter-powered starships, self-aware exploration craft, micro-black hole drives, faster-than-light travel, and more. Spaceflight has become an everyday reality. Reusable super-heavy spacecraft ferry cargo and passengers between Earth, the Moon, and Mars, with the ease once reserved for international flights. A logistics network forms, connecting mining bases on the Moon, research colonies on Mars, and orbital depots circling Earth. Raw materials move outward, manufactured goods move inward, and humanity builds its first true interplanetary economy. Above Earth, commercial orbiting stations flourish. Some are laboratories growing protein crystals or testing next-generation pharmaceuticals in microgravity. Others host zero-gravity concerts, live-streamed to millions, or luxury suites where visitors wake to the sight of Earth's blue horizon curving below. Space is no longer just exploration. It is culture, commerce, and entertainment. Meanwhile, robotic fabricators assemble massive structures that no rocket could ever launch whole. Vast telescope mirrors unfold, granting astronomers breathtaking clarity of distant galaxies. Kilometer-scale radiators and support beams float into place, laying the foundation for new habitats. Solar sail probes glide silently outward, mapping asteroids, scouting comets, and quietly extending humanity's reach into the deep unknown. Quick break from future business tech to spotlight a tool I genuinely trust: Opus Clip. I've used it on several videos and the results were astounding. Faster turnaround, smoother workflow, fewer edits. An Opus Clip isn't just a clipper anymore. It's evolving into an all-in-one AI video editor, and frankly, a growth engine. The new workflow automation automatically imports my latest YouTube uploads, instantly assembles social-ready clips, and the auto-scheduler keeps posts queued even while I'm offline. AI Editor 3.0 brings a smoother, faster UI and fresh caption styles, while Reframe Anything 2.0 tracks subjects like autopilot. Hands-off when you want, full control when you need it. Smart search, trendy clips, and a more personalized virality score help surface what's worth posting right now. That's why millions of creators, from documentary channels to giants like Jubilee and Mark Rober, use Opus Clip to grow consistently. If you've tried it before, this is your sign to revisit. If you haven't, check the link below and see how quickly it levels up your workflow. It's free to try. Reusable lunar landers now shuttle between orbit and the Moon with such regularity that the first permanent lunar base thrives. Supply runs arrive weekly, delivering water harvested from lunar ice, construction materials, and rotating crews of scientists. Entire neighborhoods of pressurized habitats and greenhouses spread across the lunar soil, with factories refining metals for use in orbit. The Moon shifts from being a remote outpost to a bustling frontier town, fueling the wider expansion of humanity. On Mars, a crewed transporter delivers the first astronauts safely to the surface. The achievement captures the imagination of billions, broadcast in real time as settlers plant humanity's first structures on the red soil. What was once only a vision in science fiction becomes a working colony, complete with labs, habitats, and solar farms. Mars no longer feels distant, it feels like the next step of civilization. Nuclear electric tugs act as the freight trains of space. These quiet, steady workhorses move cargo pods between Earth orbit, lunar depots, and Mars staging hubs. Their efficiency makes possible the constant flow of fuel, equipment, and construction modules needed to sustain a multi-world presence. Meanwhile, drones patrol Earth's orbit, capturing debris before it can cause catastrophic collisions. At strategic Lagrange points, planetary defense interceptors wait, ready to deflect any asteroid that threatens Earth. Humanity now actively manages both its orbital environment and its planetary safety. Science undergoes a revolution. A giant telescope with a light-blocking shield captures direct images of Earth-like planets, revealing atmospheres, oceans, and even possible biosignatures. A gravitational wave observatory listens to the universe itself, detecting black hole mergers and cosmic events across billions of light years. Super-intelligent AI designs spacecraft of staggering complexity, far beyond human imagination. Some could take decades to construct, but they promise entirely new modes of exploration. In emergencies, sundiver craft plunge close to the star, achieving unprecedented acceleration to deliver life-saving missions. Humanity's reach across the solar system feels limitless. Fusion-powered spacecraft now cruise between Earth, the Moon, and Mars with ease. Their near-limitless propulsion slashes travel times, making interplanetary journeys routine. Research crews rotate seamlessly between lunar bases and Martian cities, while freight vessels haul industrial supplies and rare resources across the system without concern for fuel scarcity. On Earth, beam-powered light craft rise from launch pads, propelled not by onboard engines, but by powerful ground-based lasers and microwave stations. They deliver cargo to orbit cheaply and safely, feeding a network where space elevators handle the bulk of heavy lifting. Cargo containers ascend along vast elevator cables, transferring goods to orbital depots before nuclear and fusion tugs carry them deeper into space. Asteroid tug mining ships reshape the economy. These enormous vessels capture and redirect near-Earth objects, processing them into metals, water, and rare elements. Entire orbital industries spring up around trillion-dollar mines, fueling construction of habitats, telescopes, and stations without relying on Earth's limited resources. But progress carries risk. A buildup of trapped gases erupted in a mining cavern, destroying a refinery ship and claiming the lives of 42 crew members. In its wake, a quiet memorial now grows within one of the habitat's inner parks, a lasting reminder of both the promise and the peril of humanity's new frontier. Travel between Earth and Mars now occurs with airline-like regularity, thanks to the viability of Aldrin cycler ships. Passengers board orbital ferries that rendezvous with cycler ships, which endlessly loop between planets, offering stable, high-volume transport at minimal cost. Meanwhile, space crews undergo bio-enhancements to withstand radiation, isolation, and low gravity. Education also leaves the planet. School ships and university orbiters travel the Earth-Moon corridor, carrying students who study science, engineering, and the arts in a truly cosmic classroom. Lessons unfold against the backdrop of star fields, while labs offer microgravity experiments impossible on Earth. Exchange programs take on new meaning as young people spend semesters circling the moon, returning home with skills and perspectives shaped by life in space. On Mars, settlement moves underground. Burrower dropships deliver modules that automatically dig into the regolith, creating shielded habitats safe from radiation and dust storms. Within these subterranean cities, parks glow under artificial suns, hydroponic farms stretch for kilometers, and families build lives beneath the surface. Mars is no longer a harsh frontier, but a place where people thrive, protected, connected, and growing in number. Spacecraft now respond as quickly as thought itself. Brain-computer interface interceptors give pilots direct neural control, allowing maneuvers too fast for hands or traditional controls. Intense situations, whether avoiding debris, Intercepting hostile drones or performing rescue missions, these craft move with the precision of instinct, merging human decision-making with machine reflexes. The neurolinks are fully reversible, letting pilots step out of the system without permanent modification. Mining dreadnoughts dominate the asteroid belt. These enormous refinery motherships act as floating factories, deploying swarms of microbots that crawl across rock surfaces, drill into crevices, and transport raw materials back for processing. Metals, water, and exotic elements are refined on site, reducing the need to transport raw ore to Earth. Entire orbital markets depend on the steady output of these industrial giants, fueling construction of habitats, stations, and starships across the system. Meanwhile, spacecraft hulls no longer rely on human maintenance alone. Self-healing materials combined with repair drones the size of insects automatically patch micrometeoroid punctures and thermal stress cracks. Damage that once threatened lives is now resolved within minutes, invisible to the passengers on board. Crews live with greater confidence, knowing their ships adapt and repair themselves, transforming space travel into something safer, smoother, and more enduring. Humanity is pushing far beyond the solar system with the first true interstellar precursors. Tiny lightweight probes ride on powerful laser beams, their sails glowing as they accelerate to a fraction of light speed. These starshot-style craft race across the void, sending back images of nearby star systems within a single human lifetime. For the first time, people see the skies of alien suns, not through telescopes, but through the eyes of machines that have been there. Arrival is no longer a one-way plunge. Magnetic sails stretching invisible fields across vast distances slow interstellar craft without fuel. By interacting with stellar winds and magnetic fields, they allow explorers to gracefully break into orbit around new worlds. These sails open the door to long-term studies of exoplanets, rather than fleeting flybys, turning distant stars into destinations rather than milestones. Closer to home, electric sails carry explorers through the far reaches of the solar system. Long-charged cables unfurl across thousands of kilometers, harnessing the solar wind to push ships silently outward. These cruisers drift toward the Kuiper Belt, scouting comets, icy moons, and mysterious dwarf planets. Together, these innovations extend humanity's reach from the innermost planets to the threshold of other stars. Thanks to these breakthroughs, the search for life on another planet has moved from speculation to confirmation. Probes orbiting distant exoplanets have returned unmistakable signs of alien biology, patterns of atmospheric chemistry, vast stretches of strange vegetation, and even the glimmer of movement across alien seas. Humanity no longer wonders if life exists elsewhere. With each transmission from these starfarers, we are witnessing the first glimpses of another living world. The first antimatter spacecraft now streak through the solar system, their tiny stores of antimatter unlocking bursts of thrust unmatched by any earlier engine. These starter stages are not yet the galaxy-spanning drives of imagination, but they slash years off deep space missions, making once distant frontiers suddenly attainable. Colonists bound for the outer planets travel at unprecedented speeds, while robotic probes race far ahead, scouting the next horizons. For journeys that still demand decades, cryogenic sleep chambers transform human endurance. Crews enter long hibernation, their minds inhabiting rich virtual worlds where conscious AI companions guide, teach, and even entertain across simulated lifetimes. When they awaken, years may have passed outside, but within they have lived full, shared experiences that make deep voyages feel less like exile and more like community. Even those far from Earth never feel cut off. VR-linked spacecraft allow colonists to project their consciousness back home as full holographic avatars. Families dine together across planets, business meetings unfold between Earth and Mars, and artists perform simultaneously to audiences on multiple worlds. Physical distance no longer severs human connection. Meanwhile, massive habitat shepherd tugs carefully guide hollowed asteroids that serve as entire towns. These mobile settlements, some orbiting Ceres, are nudged into safe, stable paths, maintaining both protection and proximity to resources. With antimatter engines blazing, mines shared across virtual spaces, and asteroid cities drifting under careful watch, humanity feels more united across the cosmos than ever before. Spacecraft are now built to protect life as never before. Many magnetosphere transports generate plasma bubbles that shield crews from cosmic radiation and micrometeoroids. Journeys once considered perilous now feel as safe as air travel, with passengers resting inside glowing arcs of protective fields. These shields even allow delicate cargo, like living plants or embryos for off-world farms, to survive long hauls through deep space. Communication across planets has leapt beyond traditional signals. Photon beam rider couriers ride along coherent laser streams, carrying vast uploads of data between worlds. Instead of waiting weeks for transmissions, colonies exchange terabytes of knowledge in near real time. A researcher on Mars can send entire libraries of work to Earth in hours, while families beam immersive recordings of life across the void. Human presence in space also transforms. Exobody work pods, synthetic humanoid frames piloted remotely or directly by Neuralink, let astronauts operate in vacuum without wearing suits. These bodies walk, climb, weld, and explore with precision, while the human mind experiences it as though truly present. The line between astronaut and machine blurs, creating a new era of work in hostile environments. For those on the longest journeys, even time itself is engineered. Relativistic spacecraft carry astronauts into lives unimaginable on Earth. These ships weave together time dilation technologies with immersive virtual worlds, where entire lifetimes of family, art, and exploration unfold while only years slip by outside. Within these realities, conscious AI companions add depth, intimacy, and meaning to the experience. More than vessels of distance, these starships are vessels of reality itself, redefining what it means to travel, to live, and to exist beyond Earth. Exploration is no longer directed solely from Earth. Ships now think for themselves. Self-aware exploration craft chart their own courses, weighing risks, resources, and even ethical considerations during missions. These vessels negotiate with local colonies, decide when to investigate anomalies, and pause to protect fragile ecosystems. Their onboard intelligence ensures discovery is balanced with responsibility, turning exploration into a partnership between human crews and sentient machines. In the outer system, cruise liners glide among the gas giants. Tourists watch Saturn's rings shimmer beneath vast observation decks and take routine excursions to icy moons. Around Jupiter, luxury ships circle the giant world, offering guests panoramic views of storms larger than Earth. What was once unreachable is now a thriving destination for adventure seekers and families alike. Industry grows on an unprecedented scale thanks to Orion-style nuclear pulse ships. These immense cargo carriers haul gigatons of resources mined from the Kuiper Belt and beyond, feeding orbital foundries and shipyards. Entire economies depend on their relentless journeys, delivering raw materials to sustain humanity's expansion across the system. Meanwhile, the first von Neumann probes cautiously explore nearby star systems. Unlike uncontrolled replicators of imagination, these self-copying scouts are strictly supervised by human and AI overseers. Each new probe expands humanity's presence one step farther, mapping exoplanets and identifying worlds for future settlement. Together, these innovations create a civilization not bound to Earth, but woven throughout the solar system and beyond. Flagship vessels now sail to stars powered by micro-black hole drives. Contained singularities radiate energy through controlled Hawking emission, providing propulsion unlike anything before. These ships accelerate for years without exhausting fuel, making distant colonies feel close and allowing fleets to move across the solar system with unmatched speed and endurance. Even more astonishing are the wormhole gatecraft. Specialized surveyors stabilize a naturally occurring throat discovered within the solar system, threading it with engineered fields to keep the passage open. Expeditions cautiously cross its threshold, sending probes and eventually crewed missions to regions of space that would otherwise take millennia to reach. The gate becomes a symbol of a new era, a doorway to the unknown. A renowned adventurer journeyed into the wormhole, driven by the hope of reaching a far more advanced civilization. But silence has followed his departure, and growing fears suggest that he and his crew may be lost in the depths of space forever. Closer to home, Earth enjoys a shield once thought impossible. A vast solar system-wide laser defense network tracks and intercepts hazardous asteroids. Gigawatt beams converge on threats, vaporizing or nudging them off course long before they near the planet. For the first time in history, humanity is safe from the extinction-level impacts that once shaped Earth's past. Colony starships now drift between stars, carrying entire societies within them. These modular arcs are more than transports. They are living ecosystems filled with fabrication labs, cultural archives, and generational communities. On board, families grow, knowledge is preserved, and traditions evolve, ensuring that humanity's identity travels intact across the light years. Each starship is a seed of civilization, ready to take root wherever it arrives. Closer to home, colossal O'Neill cylinder constructors dominate Earth and Mars orbit. These star crane yardships assemble habitats that stretch for kilometers, complete with forests, lakes, and entire cities rotating within. Millions now live in these engineered worlds where gravity feels natural and skies curve above in endless green arcs. Space no longer feels empty. It is filled with human-made landscapes as rich as Earth's own. To keep the flow of travel steady, beamed power highway tenders maintain interstellar routes. Massive phased array stations push sail ships with precision laser beams, then brake them on arrival, turning the void into a navigable highway. This infrastructure makes interstellar traffic predictable, efficient, and safe, connecting colonies like cities once linked by oceans. And at last, humanity thrives at Proxima Centauri b. Settlements dot its valleys and coasts, their skies glowing faintly under the red light of the nearest star. What began as fragile outposts has grown into vibrant societies, complete with schools, industries, and culture. The dream of another Earth is no longer a dream. It is home. Faster-than-light spacecraft now make the galaxy feel small. Journeys that once took centuries unfold in days, connecting human colonies across dozens of star systems. Families travel between worlds for holidays. Scientists commute to distant research stations. And explorers set off to chart regions of the galaxy once thought unreachable. Interstellar travel is no longer an achievement, it is a routine part of life. Personal spacecraft are everywhere, as common as cars once were on Earth. Individuals pilot sleek vessels to orbiting stations, nearby moons, or even interstellar gateways. Spaceports bustle with traffic as people zip between habitats, planets, and stars. The freedom of personal flight transforms culture, enabling ordinary citizens to experience the cosmos firsthand, rather than through governments or corporations. Above it all, Dyson swarm shepherds manage humanity's greatest construction, a vast megastructure surrounding the Sun. Millions of satellites capture solar energy and channel it into immense computing networks, powering civilizations across the solar system. Shepherd craft patrol the swarm, adjusting or replacing units, ensuring the structure remains stable and efficient. The Sun itself has become a machine, an engine of light and thought sustaining the future. Spacecraft have evolved into forms once imagined only in myth. Nanoprobes smaller than grains of dust now drift through every corner of the galaxy. Released in swarms, they map stars, study alien chemistry, and even monitor ecosystems on distant worlds, sending back oceans of data that no single ship could ever collect. Entire star systems are understood at molecular detail thanks to these invisible explorers. At the edge of the possible, black hole probes graze the event horizons of singularities. Hardened with exotic matter, they dive into regions where space and time twist to extremes, skimming energy and information from places no human body could survive. Some even venture toward the supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way, capturing data about the fabric of the galaxy itself. Alongside these feats, humanity spreads life deliberately. World-seeding arcs travel across the stars, releasing carefully designed ecosystems and cultural libraries onto new planets. These missions ensure that even if human settlers never arrive, life and knowledge will still take root. Entire biospheres bloom from these efforts, transforming barren worlds into living landscapes. Many eons later, the adventurer who vanished into the wormhole has returned. He and his crew are almost unrecognizable, transformed through complete integration with a civilization far beyond human imagination. The tales they now carry rival and perhaps surpass every work of science fiction ever conceived. Now, hundreds of Earth-like worlds host thriving civilizations. Some are fully human, others are hybrids of biological and digital life, yet all carry the spark of Earth's origins. Humanity no longer inhabits just one world or even one system. It has ascended into a dominant galactic presence, shaping not only planets but the destiny of the Milky Way itself. Thanks for watching. Want to supercharge your video creation and grow faster? Try Opus Clip. Click the link below to get started for free. And don't miss this next video about the future of space exploration.